This is one of the best environments we've ever had. This is fantastic.
Watching ACC basketball on ACC Network Extra. Hello, everybody, and welcome inside historic Cameron Indoor Stadium. Moments away from tip between Duke and Campbell. Alongside Chris Spatola, I am Ryan Craig. Chris, you're like both of these teams back-to-back for you as well. You had Duke and Army last night. Wendell Moore Jr. had an outstanding game for the Blue Devils.
He sure did. Triple-double puts him in rarefied air here at Duke. And even outside of the numbers, Ryan, I thought his energy, I thought he played like your captain, like your leader. There was a bit of a malaise in that first half, I thought. Duke not really with the energy that we've expected. Certainly they had against Kentucky. I thought he set the tone, got them going, knocked down some perimeter shots, and they were off and running from there. Just a really good leadership effort last night from Moore.
And you take a look at the numbers, only the third student athlete since Coach K has been on the sidelines in more than 4 decades to register a triple-double with 19, 10, and 10. Let's flip it over to the other side for a moment. Campbell, a 1-point win, 68-67 over Hartford. What do they have to do tonight to be competitive with Duke?
You know, what they did yesterday against Hartford was a good start. Take care of the basketball. They only had the 4 turnovers. This is an old group. This is an old Campbell team. So I don't think they'll be intimidated by the moment, but you got to get off to a good start.
Trevor Keels controls the tip for the Camels. There's a good start defensively. Jesus Carolero blocking the shot from the sturdy freshman. And down in behind the play is Wendell Moore Jr. There was a collision there and a body in the paint, perhaps falling onto the leg of Moore. So just 12 seconds into this one, the crowd in Cameron Indoor Stadium falls silent. No score as of yet, and you certainly hope Wendell Moore is going to be okay. Coach K out to check on the Charlotte, North Carolina native. Chris, you talked about how valuable Wendell Moore is on the floor with his skill set, but also as a leader, as a veteran. Duke, as is typical, working in a lot of new parts and a lot of new faces this year.
Well, and you have a game like he had last night, and you get the opportunity to play the next day. There's nothing better. You want to go out, you want to duplicate that effort, and to go down within the first 10 seconds of a game just stinks for him.
Take another look.
Yeah, it's that left leg. Just came down, perhaps hyperextended a little bit there, but man, he's a tough kid too, so you know there's something there. He's a tough dude.
Joey Baker checks in for Moore as he goes back to the locker room and perhaps the training room for further evaluation. In the meantime, everybody resets as we get back to live action. Here's Carolero on the other end, who was involved with that play. Obviously no fault of his own whatsoever, just trying to defend as Keels was headed toward the rim. Already an eventful first 30 seconds here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Keels spots up for 3. That one is good.
Duke's first 2 buckets last night against Army were 3s. There are a lot of defensive similarities between Campbell and Army. They're going to play man-to-man primarily, but they're going to pack it in. They're going to invite those perimeter shots from Duke.
Keels a good shooter, 1 for 6 last night, but hits his first here this evening. As we take a look at the starters for the Camels. Moksekas, a team high 12 against Hartford. That one will count, as Ben Carroll's called for the goaltend.
Campbell runs a lot of the similar offensive stuff to Army as well. You know, that pseudo Princeton, a lot of cutting. They get a lot of layups. You know, yesterday in that Hartford game, they beat Hartford yesterday in the afternoon. They got a lot of layups, and that offense creates those. Really good passing team.
There's an updated look at the lineup. Obviously, that's not the starting five necessarily, but that's the five that are out there right now, with more headed to the locker room on the opening possession of the game. 3-2 Duke as Carolero works against Williams. It's exactly what you talked about, Chris. Ben Caro working against McCullough, too easy, 6'10", so skilled.
And that's where you love to see him. I mean, you just can't, he's almost unguardable down there because he's got the size. How do you match up? You match him big, he's gonna punish you with the versatility. You play him small and he's gonna put you in the basket.
Active start for Carolero, who comes up with the offensive rebound. Thought about the three. Williams sends that one back in his face. And it'll be a timeout for Campbell. It's a 5-4 game.
That ain't gonna work if you're Carolero. Not against that guy, not tonight. I mean, there's more length than you even expect. You think you have an angle, and because of his size and length and athleticism, he might even cover up and overstep.
Williams listed at 7 feet. His reach is 7'3", the wingspan. Incredibly long arms. Carolero at 6'8", giving up at least 4 inches, plus the reach.
That's where in a game like this, like the game last night against Army, you know, Williams has a major size advantage. He's got to be active. These are the games when you're a big guy, like a Mark Williams, you got to have a big night. I mean, you got to be really active, and anybody who watched that game last night, well, Mark Williams, his first shot against Army was a 17-foot jump shot. And I thought it affected, as McCullough bangs down a perimeter shot, I thought it set the tone for how Williams played in that first half.
First made three for Campbell. You got to think that the Camels are going to have to catch fire to some extent from long range as Williams misses inside. It was such a great end to last season for Mark Williams that the expectations were lofty for him coming into this year. Another offensive rebound. And there is Williams altering the mindset there, but another three. This time it's Carolero. And Campbell certainly unafraid. A 10-5 lead here in the early going.
And that's where the difficulty in that matchup is, though, for Williams, because Carolero can step out and shoot it. He played really well in that game yesterday against Hartford. Hit some big perimeter shots down the stretch for them.
Roach is called for the foul.
You know, it's interesting. Two teams. Here's this Carolero three. Ricky Clemens thinks better of it. Kicks it out, and Mark Williams just lost underneath. I mean, that's where Carolero, he finds open space because he kind of floats. And another layup. Backdoor cut. You know, Army yesterday, they compete, and so they're going to stay in that game. Campbell competes. They're also old. I mean, they're starting 4 seniors and a junior. They are not going to be afraid. They had a really good year last year, and they're a favorite to win their conference.
You mentioned last season, this is a team picked to finish 10th in the Big South, ended up at 3rd, made the title game in their conference tournament, and brings back basically everybody and everything. 99% of their points and minutes from a year ago. A 12-5 lead here as we head to the under-16.
When you got backdoor cuts, you got layup makers, Duke extended, Campbell's going to make you pay. How about a little flush down early in this game?
Back underway, Cameron Indoor Stadium as Trevor Keels hits the side of the backboard with that three. Chris, 5 made baskets, 5 assists for Campbell here in the early going.
Yeah, they run their offense really well, and they're going to take advantage of Duke's defensive aggressiveness. That's where you got some of those back cuts on overplays. Really good passing team, and they don't hurt themselves. They don't turn it over.
Stocic is out there. Theo John rejects that shot from Ricky Clemens. John certainly adds a degree of physicality to the Duke interior, the graduate student transfer.
But it's good to see, because I thought he was a non-factor last night. He was so good against Kentucky, and then Theo John just did not play the way he's capable of last night. And with Wendell Moore out, you need his experience. You need him to show up and be consistent.
Late in the shot clock, Cedric Henderson Jr. almost gets it to go. Instead, the Blue Devils the other way. John with Bancaro trying to post up down low. Corner three for Griffin is good. A.J. Griffin working his way back from a knee injury. Starting to find the rhythm here in the early stages of the season. Here's Whitfield, and now Stocic. Henderson against Bancaro, 5 on the shot clock for the Camels. Henderson with a 3 from the wing, the 3rd three-pointer already for Campbell, and it's 15-8.
The other thing, too, they're going to make you defend deep into a shot clock. You have got to stay engaged. You've got to stay disciplined, because that ball is going to see both sides of the floor.
Bancaro, he'll try a 3. Clemens comes away with it. Big South All-Tournament team a year ago. Campbell not going away at all here, up 10 here in the first half. 4 for 6 from long distance. 4 different players with a made 3. It's been a balanced attack thus far for Campbell. That one is stripped away. Second turnover of the game for the Blue Devils. Good sign for Duke as Wendell Moore is set to check back in at the scorer's table. Mark Williams joins him. Stocic runs into Keels, who had half a dozen steals the other day. Here's Roach the other way, who cashes it in and one.
You know, Duke's got to use their defense to get themselves going and get some easy stuff, because they have struggled in the early going against that Campbell half-court defense. And Jeremy Roach, slow start last night in that game against Army, did not have a great first half, really caught fire in the second. But that's where that Campbell defense, it looks like a zone. They're playing a man, but it's really packed in. And when you look at Duke in the last 2 games, they're 10 of 42 from 3. That's with going 1 of 13 against Kentucky. So again, if you're Kevin McGee and Campbell's head coach, and you're looking at that, you're saying, let's make them prove they can make a perimeter shot. It's nice to get a layup in the open floor off of your defense.
Roach finishes off the 3-point play. He had 14 last night against Army West Point. Finds himself matched up against Stocic. It's another steal, this time Wendell Moore. Wendell Moore returning to the game. Coast to coast. What a welcome sight for the Blue Devils, having 0 back on the floor and making an impact immediately as the lead is trimmed to 5. Thompson will try a 3. Bancaro clears the glass. Looking for Williams on the lob. The pass was not a great one in transition. Clemens. Another steal for Duke. 4 of them already. And then Banchero is called for the offensive foul. Second time the Blue Devils have been whistled for that type of infraction in the game.
He's not happy. I didn't like that call either.
Back in a moment. Duke by 5.
Welcome back to Cameron Indoor Stadium. Here was that last foul call. It was called a charge, and I don't think it's a good call at all. You're allowed to move as the defender, but you have to be in legal guarding position. I like Messiah Thompson's effort. He is not in legal guarding position, and I actually think he initiates contact with his chest on Banchero, so I don't like that call.
Despite the end result with the offensive foul, positive signs for the Blue Devils. It was once a double-digit deficit. They forced 3 turnovers in the last 2 minutes plus, turning defense into offense.
They got to take Campbell out of their rhythm. It's a rhythm offense. I think Duke's length over the last minute here has been a factor.
Carolero working against Moore in the paint. Goes with the baby hook. That catches nothing. Duke has put the clamps on defensively. Williams fighting for position against Carolero. Now it's Banchero at the elbow. Foul is called on McCullough as Banchero will head to the line for the first time this evening. Sorry, Chris, go ahead.
No, you're good.
11 for 12, I was going to say. Banchero from the free throw line this year, a guy that figures to shoot a lot of them this season, shooting at a high clip so far.
Shooting at a high clip from the field as well. I mean, in 2 games, he's 13 of 16 from 2, shooting 81% on 2-point field goals. And like you said, he's 9 of 10 from the line. And he's been hyper efficient, and he hasn't been a pig about it. Like he's not firing up shots. He's done it within the offense. He's done it in the open floor.
Coming into the game is actually taking the 3rd most shots of anybody on the team. Both Trevor Keels and Wendell Moore have taken more shots this season. The lead is down to 3 for Campbell. Another turnover. Roach up and under. Back to within 1. The Blue Devils on a 9-0 run here in the last 2:31. 4 turnovers in less than 3.5 minutes for Campbell. After all the good looks at the start of this game, it has been tough sledding, although a foul called here against Duke with 10:02 to play in the first half.
So that defense again, and their energy has turned up. What a beautiful finish by Roach in the open floor. Their energy defensively has turned up, and they have figured out that they can score off of that defense, which I think has not only upped the ante defensively, but it's certainly given their offense a spark.
Carolero will try a 3. Campbell continues to hit from long range, 5 of 8, as the lead is restored to 4.
Carolero is such a good player. It gives him such versatility. He's athletic, he's active. You have to play him like a guard.
Moore jars that one, and Duke is back within 1. From an early exit to major impact for Wendell Moore Jr. here in the first half. For those that missed the first minute of the game, you missed Wendell Moore heading back to the locker room. Seemed at the time like an injury, lower extremity, but back out on the floor. He's got 5 points and a couple of steals in just 4 minutes.
Older players, juniors, seniors, They don't pick and choose when they show up. They show up every night. And that's who Wendell Moore has been through the first 2 games and in the early going here. That's what I was saying about Theo John. That's who he has to be as well. You know, the veterans on this team, they got to be there every night.
Moore, fall-away jumper. Sky high for the rebound is Keels, who pulls it away. Third opportunity for the Blue Devils. Banchero looking for Keels, who is cutting baseline. It'll be turned over by the Blue Devils. Half a dozen turnovers here for Duke. Stochich watched by Banchero. Here's Thompson now. Step back 3 from Henderson misses. Roach will initiate for the Blue Devils. 21-20. Camels have led for a majority of the first half. No longer, though, as Roach with the finish inside.
What a strong drive. That was pretty well defended by Jordan Whitfield.
7 points for Roach here in the early going. He's 3 for 4 from the field. Thompson, kick to the corner. Whitfield misses the 3. 2 Blue Devils falling out of bounds, but Banchero has it. Paolo Banchero for 3. Joey Baker flying in to earn the extra possession. Moore misses on the 3-pointer, and here comes Henderson. Long range 3 early in the shot clock for Thompson. And Roach took a couple of steps before he put the ball on the floor. 7:09 remaining in the first half. 22-21 Blue Devils.
What a start for Jeremy Roach. Strong finish with a little deft kiss off the glass.
About 6 minutes ago, it was 18-8 Campbell. Blue Devils on a 14-3 run. They forced 5, or they have 5 steals, and they've turned those into 10 points. Incredibly efficient, turning defense into offense.
Yeah, and it's a Campbell team that only turned it over 4 times in their game against Hartford yesterday. They take very good care of the ball. And the half-court defense has been a struggle at times for Duke, you know, because they're packing it in, they're plugging gaps real hard. So that open floor, those turnovers, those live ball turnovers have ignited Duke.
Jalen Blake's out on the floor for the Blue Devils. Here's McCullough. On-ball pressure there from Wendell Moore. Another long 3. Thompson, a 43% shooter from 3-point land in Big South games a year ago, but a bit ambitious perhaps.
The further you get from that line, the lower the percentages dip. Unless your name's Curry.
And then the numbers never dip. Henderson working against Moore inside. It's off the fingertips of A.J. Griffin, so it will stay with Campbell. 20 on the shot clock. Whitfield returns. Second team preseason all-conference for Coach Kevin McGeehan in his 9th season. On the sidelines with Campbell. Henderson now against Blakes. McCullough, 2 on the shot clock. Whitfield fires the 3 at the buzzer. And it ends up back in the hands of McCullough. Another opportunity for the Camels.
Well, then they make you play another 30 seconds or 20 seconds of defense.
Long possession here for Campbell, and it ends in a three-pointer. Clemens taking full advantage of the extra opportunities.
So you're playing defense there if you're Duke for almost 50 seconds.
24-22, Campbell retakes the lead. And now a foul is called.
No, and part of the issue is for Duke too. If you allow them second shots, which Duke has, I mean, 8 offensive rebounds already for Campbell, and they're coming off those long threes. And so those long rebounds are giving Campbell another opportunity, and they're mature enough to say, let's reset and force Duke to have to play more defense.
First foul called against Henderson. Carrolero's on the bench with 2 fouls. Moore misses inside. Blakes picks up Thompson as he crosses midcourt. McCullough surveying his options. Thompson with 3 on the shot clock. Step back 3 over Blakes. It'll be a shot clock violation, and perhaps a bit lucky because it was off the leg of Wendell Moore, out of bounds, but it will stay with the Blue Devils.
Well, and at some point, you have to go north-south if you're Campbell. Like, you can run the shot clock down to the end, but you got to come up with a quality shot at the end, not a 35-footer from Messiah Thompson.
Banchero, 4 points on the evening. Keels with the jumper. It's off the mark. Blakes at least temporarily came up with the rebound. Instead, transition for Campbell. Henderson climbs the ladder. He's fouled by Jalen Blakes.
Cedric Henderson, nice job giving it up, knowing that he was going to get it back, filling the lane, knowing there was contact probably coming from behind him. Henderson, you know, he's probably the most impactful two-way player in the Big South. I mean, every scouting report on Campbell starts with Cedric Henderson. He does a little bit of everything. The senior.
I thought Coach McGeehan described it in an interesting way. He said it's hard to coach against him because you really can't pinpoint a weakness to try to exploit. Just does a little bit of everything and does it really well. Second team All-Big South last year, preseason first teamer this year, son of a former NBA player, so he's got the pedigree as well. Makes the second free throw, 25-22. I think the Camels did really well to absorb the pressure. Duke looked like they were throwing one of their traditional, typical, patented Cameron Indoor haymakers, and it's steadied a bit here for Campbell in the last few minutes. Skips through the hands of Roach. 7 on the shot clock for Duke. Keels spots up for a 3. Trevor Keels 1 for 5 from the field. Make it 1 for 6 now here. As we hit under 4 minutes to play in the first half. Another turnover for Campbell. It's number 7. We'll take a break with them. Camels by 3 here at Cameron. .349 to play in the first half. Campbell, a 25-22 win over the nation's number 9 team. 6 for 15 from the three-point line, and that's after the Camels have actually missed quite a few lately. They were on fire to start, so helped really keep them in the game. And frankly, it feels like when Campbell is able to control the turnovers, they're able to compete on every possession. Duke just sped them up there for about 3 or 4 minutes and eliminated what was a double-digit deficit. Skip pass from Wendell Moore ends up with Joey Baker. Roach The kick out, Moore, corner three with 4 on the shot clock is good.
Nice job by Wendell Moore moving to open space. They were trying to feed Banchero, who had McCullough on him. Weren't able to do it. And of course, Wendell Moore bails him out.
Moore a couple of threes last night. He's got a couple of more this evening. Banchero grabs the rebound, and Moore will walk it up the floor. Keels a three. Duke's 5th of the game.
Kevin McGeehan wanted a foul on that, and I don't blame him. Because Banchero, it ended up being a moving screen. It's the reason that the defender got caught underneath.
That 3-point lead was Duke's largest of the game. It's immediately cut to 1 as number 1, Ricky Clemens, cashes in the layup. Those were some of the easy looks the Camels were getting at the start of the game.
There you go. That's what he's got to do. You know, he catches on that mid-post. Rip through, put it on the floor, put the pressure on the defense. Don't bail the defense out by settling. And here's this play. That's an offensive foul. You got to be stationary, and it's the reason that the defender got caught underneath, and if you give Keels that much time, he's a terrific perimeter shooter.
McCullough joins Carolero with 2 fouls here in the first half. He'll stay on the floor for Coach McGeehan. And he's guarding Banchero, has to be careful not to pick up his 3rd. Banchero goes off glass. Henderson is there for the rebound. Messiah Thompson guarded by Wendell Moore. Henderson looking to back down Moore. 2 feet in the paint, fall away jumper is no good. Baker falls on top of McCullough. A little something extra after the whistle there. Like Joey Baker was trying to help McCullough up. Maybe he didn't particularly like the fashion in which he was doing so. Another foul called on the Blue Devils in the meantime. That one's called on Keels. It's Duke's 5th team foul. Neither team in the bonus at this point. Clemens misses inside as Baker challenges the shot.
They got 2 good shots on that possession. One by Henderson before the scrum, and then right there, really nice execution on the under out of bounds. You come away empty, and you're trying to spring an upset. You got to make free throws, you got to hit layups, and you got to hit open threes.
Campbell has only been to the line twice this evening. Henderson shot those free throws, made 1 of 2. 10 of 29 from the field, just 34.5% for Campbell. Blue Devils 10 of 23, 5 of 11 behind the arc. Campbell looking for only its 2nd win in program history over an ACC team. 1-33 against Atlantic Coast Conference programs. The only win came back in 1993 against NC State. That was 72-69 in overtime. Duke has won the only 2 previous matchups in this series. The first one came back in the first round of the 1992 NCAA tournament. Duke, of course, went on to win the 2nd of back-to-back titles that year. Christian Laettner led the Blue Devils in scoring in that game. He led a lot of games in scoring for the Blue Devils back in that era. Banchero against McCullough, just exploiting the matchup there. It's a mismatch on a good day. McCullough with 2 fouls as well.
That's big turtle eat little turtle.
Under a minute to play, first half. Henderson It's a nice move there. Stop and pop jump shot. 8 points in the game. He and Carolero tied for the team high. Bancaro looking for the ball once again. Drawing the foul and hitting the layup.
You know, Austin McCullough's, he's trying. I mean, he's fighting his rear end off. He's given up 5 inches, though, to Bancaro. And then the help side comes late. Not that Messiah Thompson at 5'8" was going to be able to do much. This guy's probably going to be one of the top picks of the draft. You know, there's just only so much you're going to be able to do. And that's why I love him on the block. He's such a weapon down there. Not that he's not out on the perimeter, but he creates such a mismatch when he starts down there, and he can create for others from that position as well.
The agility to make the move and then the strength to power through the foul from Thompson. Bancaro with 9 points now to lead all scorers. It's a 4-point lead for Duke, its largest of the game. 5 seconds. Whitfield the jumper. It's off the backboard. Couple of tenths left. Left-handed jump shot is no good. And Duke, Paolo Bancaro and the Blue Devils will take a 4-point lead into halftime.
It's a good half. That was competitive. You know, quick start by Campbell. Duke's defense ignited. And then really back and forth the last 4 minutes of that half. Should be a fun second half.
Coach K looking for his 1100th win at Duke. Trevor Keels and the Blue Devils, all they can handle from the Camels here in the early going. Defense to offense, Roach with 7, plenty more to come on ACC Network Extra from Cameron Indoor Stadium. Back here on ACC Network Extra with the start of the second half, 33-29 Duke alongside Chris Spatola. I'm Ryan Craig. And Chris, as we look back at the first 20 minutes, look at the offensive rebounds and just rebounding in total, 20-12. The Camels over the Blue Devils, despite a lack of size, continuously able to extend possessions.
Yeah, half of their rebounds are offensive rebounds. Half of their shots are three-point shots. Those misses have been long rebounds, and Campbell has collected them. And the reason this is a low-scoring game is because it's been a low-possession game. Campbell, with how deliberate they are in the half court with their tempo, and then you extend those possessions with offensive rebounds, they've been able to keep it low possession, and they've been able to keep it close and low scoring as a result.
If you're Duke and you know what Campbell's trying to do, and that is slow the game down, just as you mentioned, how do you try to speed a team up to maybe get into more of the tempo that you're looking to play on your home floor?
You gotta hope that your talent, your length, and your toughness has a cumulative effect. You know, continue to defend. I thought there was a greater sense of urgency in the second part of that first half defensively. Once Duke figured out, okay, there's a lot of cutting and moving and backdoor cuts. We got to stay engaged for the entire defensive possession.
Carolero back out on the floor with the ball now. He had 2 fouls, so he sat for quite a bit. Only played 7 minutes in the first half. 6 on the shot clock for the Camels. Another opportunity late in the shot clock. This is where Campbell's been living this entire game. Carolero against Moore. Off the front rim. Bancaro pulls down his 3rd rebound of the game.
And no Mark Williams to start the second half. I think in part, this is really not a game for him. I mean, with the way that Campbell plays their offense, there's not really a matchup out there for Williams.
Bancaro playing the 5.
And that helps.
Jumper.
And that helps when you can just shift that guy over to the 5.
He's got 11. 35-29, largest lead of the game for Duke. Whitfield in the paint. Baker stymies him there. Keels watching Clemens now. Carolero with under 5 on the clock. Layup is good. Exactly what Campbell is looking for. using about 28 seconds and scoring 2 points.
What a great start to the season Carolero's had.
Roach looking for Banchero. Henderson thought it went off of Banchero. Instead, it will stay with the Blue Devils. Wendell Moore Jr., who left briefly in the first half with what at the time looked like it could have been a fairly serious injury, ended up coming back a few minutes later. Second foul on Henderson. He joins Carolero and McCullough with 2. Nobody for the Blue Devils with more than a foul thus far in the game. And here's the injury I just mentioned. Opening possession of the game, Carolero challenging Keels at the rim and then falling into the leg of Wendell Moore Jr. Here's Carolero, skip pass, McCullough. Now Whitfield for 3. That one barely grazes the rim, but another opportunity. Campbell, I think, wants a fresh shot clock. I thought it hit the rim. That one doesn't. Now there's been a reset of the shot clock. Things are a little askew here, in my estimation, on the shot clock management. McCullough leans into a 3, and I guess in the end, all is moot.
Is askew a scientific term?
I don't know. We were talking marine biology before. You had the turtle reference. I had to up my game. I picked up a thesaurus and a dictionary at halftime.
To be clear, it was not just a turtle reference. It was a Charles Darwin reference. This was top shelf evolutionary discussion. Don't marginalize it and minimize it by calling it a turtle reference.
Just because I had to get it down to the level that I could understand. You're flying at a totally different altitude.
Finally, you admit that.
Yes. Ninja Turtles are about the extent of my turtle knowledge. Here's Keels as we try to hone back in on basketball. Blue Devils by 4. Moore step back 3 from the corner. Joey Baker an offensive rebound. Blue Devils giving Campbell a taste of their own medicine. Moore tried to tip it in. Instead, Carolero comes away with it. Carolero, the length of the floor, unable to convert. Moore able to finish inside. He's got 10 on 4 of 9 from the field.
And a good redirect coming back the other way, because that was not, Duke got lucky there. That was not good transition defense. Jeremy Roach trying to make a stand at half court. Carolero misses and you get it the other way.
Keels switches on to Whitfield. It'll be the second foul on Trevor Keels.
And here comes, the pitch ahead, and Wendell Moore. He's made such a commitment this offseason. He's what college basketball used to be about. You go through the process. Had a good first 2 years, but I expect him to have a big year this year. Really committed in the offseason as Henderson finishes at the rim. The triple-double last night. Comes back from having to leave the game the first 10 seconds tonight, and just what a steady, consistent presence he's been to start this year.
When he left the floor, Duke was knocked back. That was when Campbell expanded its lead to as many as 10. Banchero falls away and hits the baseline jumper.
I compared him yesterday to Paul George, and I stand by that. He's taller than George, and he's not the defender that George is, but his offensive game is eerily reminiscent. That play being a perfect example. You face him up, and if they give you space, drill it right in his face.
Banchero's got a polished mid-range game that you don't often see in an era of either in the paint or shooting from 28 feet away. He has that in-between game. Just a 4-point lead, though, as Banchero works against Carolero. It's tipped away from the fabulous freshman. Thompson the other way. He'll shoot The jump shot from the free throw line. We'll have a jump ball, possession arrow. We'll give the ball back to the Blue Devils with a 4-point lead.
Paolo Banchero is wise behind his years. He has an intuition with the game that you can't teach, and you can't speed him up. I mean, that's what impresses me so much about him. He feels the defense, and he takes what the defense is giving him. You're going to get back off, give him some space because you're worried about him driving it, and he'll pull it in your face.
It's been an incredible start to his career. Zion Williamson was just otherworldly, not only the basketball, but the Instagram followers and the highlight dunks. He was almost larger than the sport, frankly, for the time that he spent in Durham. Obviously a fabulous basketball player as well, but I know that you think Paolo Banchero, between the lines, maybe even greater potential from a basketball standpoint, although there.
Right idea.
Just a turnover.
Just bad execution. Yeah, I think he's got a much higher ceiling than Zion. I mean, if we did a blind resume of their games, and I told you one of these guys is 6'10", 250 pounds. He plays like a guard. He's reminiscent of Paul George, and he's a great character guy. And then you explain Zion, which is not bad. I mean, this is not a slight to Zion.
Yeah.
It's more, and it's not hyperbole or being a prisoner of the moment with Banchero. Just do a blind resume and start checking off the blocks of the two of them. Long-term ceiling and potential, it's that guy wearing number 5 out there right now.
I think Coach McGeehan wanted the same call he wanted in the first half. It was Banchero with that kind of slightly moving pick on another three-point attempt. This time, though, Roach wasn't able to hit it. We saw that a bit earlier in the game. Campbell still within 4. Under 14 minutes to play. Foul is called. It'll be on Roach. That's his second. It's only the 16th foul in this game. Very clean between both of these teams.
Just smart basketball play there by Henderson. Looking to run Roach down to the block and then under out of bounds. You know, both these teams have done a nice job early in the year executing and scoring on under out of bounds. And, you know, you get a freshman who hasn't played a lot of minutes, kind of falling asleep, not understanding responsibility. And you got Ricky Clemens, a senior who's played a lot of basketball, identifying that, making a nice cut, getting an and one.
He buries the free throw. Clemens arrived at Campbell as a preferred walk-on, earned a scholarship before last year. He's got 10 points. 3 players in double figures for Campbell, Carolero and Henderson as well. Theo John fighting for position. 7 on the shot clock for Roach and company. Baker thought about the 3. He'll take it now. Another 3 for the Blue Devils. That time Roach jars it from distance.
And you like to see that from Jalen Blakes. He could be a factor because he plays hard. He could be good defensively. That was a smart, heady play by him off the offensive rebound to pitch it right back out to Roach.
3 catches nothing but the backboard. Here's Wendell Moore the other way. Baker, 1 more to Roach. He's stood up by Carolero. Joey Baker, the wing 3. 45-38. Largest lead of the game for the Blue Devils.
You might think about a timeout, and it looks like Kevin McGeehan's done to do that. These things could balloon quickly, as you've alluded to, Ryan, here in Cameron.
Blue Devils 7 for 16 from behind the line. Roach to Baker. Nation's number 9 by 7. Duke and Campbell both looking to move to 3-0 on the young season. Blue Devils came into this game 10 of 41 from behind the three-point line. Their previous 2 7 for 16 in that category here this evening as Carolero runs into Theo John, who's called for the foul.
It's good execution out of the timeout. You need a bucket. You call timeout because of a Duke run. Nice little spin there by Carolero. And you get 2 free throws, chance to score coming out of the timeout.
Carolero good on the first. Came into the game 7 of his first 10 from the charity stripe on the season. Campbell shooting 74% as a team. 4 for 5 here this evening. And back within 5. If I told you that Campbell was going to shoot 33% from the field, Duke was going to shoot 44% from 3. Probably not a recipe for a 2-possession game, and yet here we are with just over 12 minutes to play. John using the body, trying to fight through the double team. He finds Moore on the other side, and Wendell Moore finishes it for the Blue Devils.
Nice poise by Theo John to carve out his space. And a good find.
John guarding Carolero on the perimeter now. That's where Carolero creates a lot of those mismatches on this end of the floor. Here he is against Blakes. Jalen Blakes giving up 7 inches, but Carolero forced to shoot that fadeaway jumper. Moore gets rid of it just in time to avoid the traveling call. Under 10 on the shot clock for Duke. Here is Roach. Finishes with the right hand inside. He's got a dozen on the evening.
You know, Carolero's got to do something. You know, they're almost icing the ball screen. They're forcing it to that left hand of Roach, and Carolero's the back line. He does nothing.
49-40. Feels a little bit like danger time for Campbell. Here's Carolero again. Now Whitfield. John called for the foul. 2 fouls on Theo John, but the Blue Devils lead by 9 here on their home floor in Cameron. Duke has made its last 4 shots. Campbell has not hit from the field in more than 3 minutes. The lead has ballooned to 9. But Campbell baseline out of bounds with Whitfield set to put it in play.
You know, part of it is Duke's defense. They're switching 1 through 5 with this lineup. Everybody out there can switch, and it's cut off some of the stuff, a lot of the stuff in the rhythm that Campbell's running.
Moore guarding Henderson. Nice move by Henderson to finish off glass.
What that does is it makes Campbell one-on-one players. And there, a nice finish in that one-on-one matchup by Henderson.
Game high 14 for Henderson. Moore hammers it down. Wendell Moore following up his triple-double with another solid performance. 14 points on 6 of 11 from the field. Clemens misses. Keels comes away with it. Baker, corner 3 in front of the Duke bench is good. The lead is a dozen for Duke. Henderson against Keels.
Nice
Up
pass.
down to Clemens, and the finish Great vision there for Henderson. And a timeout for Coach McGeehan.
Duke loves this play for Wendell Moore. They ran it twice yesterday, scored both times. He just skips the dribble handoff, keeps it. Able to find his angle, turn a corner, and then you've got an athletic finisher attacking the rim. And then Joey Baker wide open in the corner. The shot quality has been really good for Duke. Layups or open threes, and Joey Baker, he's got to be that guy. You know, he's a three-point specialist. It's what he's in there to do, is to make threes, particularly open threes. Good extra pass there.
He's 2 for 3 from behind the line. Duke 8 for 17 as a team. The Blue Devils have hit their last 6 shots now. Goes back to some of that shot selection that you were talking about. There's Coach K, 42nd year at Duke. Duke has been ranked in the top 10 at least 1 week, 26 straight seasons, longest active streak in the country, 14th straight year starting off in the top 10. Keels a wing 3. Henderson the rebound. He's got 8 boards now to go along with 14 points. Baker is called for the foul as Clemens draws it. Second foul on Joey Baker. No real foul trouble for either side. Austin McCullough has 3 for the Camels. Everybody else with 2 or fewer for both sides. The free throw from Clemens is good.
It's funny, we were talking to Kevin McGeehan on the phone the other day, and he was quick to make sure we understood. Ricky Clemens and the great Chris Clemens, former Campbell player, no relation.
Although Ricky's mother's name is Chris, as he mentioned, which has caused some consternation with the cell phone when he dials Chris Clemens and gets the wrong Chris. (54-46) now with under 8.5 to play. Baker. Joey Baker didn't miss that one by much. As Chris Spatola, I'm sure you're loving all of the Chris talk here.
It's a first name that never goes out of style.
No. Are you a Christopher, by the way, or are you a Chris?
Only when I'm in trouble.
Wow, Carolero looked like he was in trouble and instead able to find Clemens for the finish. The pirouetting dish for the Spaniard.
He's really good, and he's starting in place of Joshua Lusain, their talented junior who starts, you know, at that 5 position for them.
Bancaro with 15 now. Yeah, Lusain last year 8th in the league in rebounds per game, 15th in assists per game, top 12 in blocks per game. So he does it all for this team. Not available here this weekend. 56-50. The Camels just refusing to go away. There have been 2 or 3 different opportunities really where teams maybe without some of that intestinal fortitude might have faded. We've seen it happen all the time in this building. Not going to be the case here this evening. The difference is half a dozen. (56-50), 7:01 remaining. Now it's Campbell. The Camels have made their last 3 field goals. Duke 7 of their last 9. So both offenses starting to click here a bit. Wendell Moore will head to the free throw line. He's got 14 points in the game.
He's He's now strung 3 really good games together. You know, we heard so much from the Duke coaching staff about Wendell Moore making that jump with his game. Certainly looks like after 3 games, he has done that. In great shape, he's strong.
Misses the free throw there, but 14 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, no turnovers in 26 minutes.
Seems like he's more confident that he can get the ball to where he wants. You know, a lot of times, the last couple years, he was so unsure of himself. When he wants to get to a spot on the floor, he's getting there, and he's knocking down perimeter shots with his feet set.
McCullough has that one stripped away. It'll stay with Campbell. Continuing with Wendell Moore, this Duke coaching staff, they don't want him to defer. They want him to be confident. They want him to be aggressive. Carolero working against Baker, who got turned around. The kick out is to Whitfield. Carolero with 5 on the shot clock. Whitfield has to heave a 3 as the shot clock expires. That's a little bit of what you were referring to earlier in the game, Chris. It's one thing to wind the clock down and use clock, but it's another to shoot a off-balance 3 at the buzzer.
Yeah.
Bancaro. The kick out is to Roach, who's closed down by Clemens. Roach into the lane, skips it across on the deflection to Moore with 3 seconds on the clock. A nice box out there by Henderson on Keels. Just a 7-point lead for the Blue Devils with under 6 to play.
Good pass.
McCullough way off target on that 3-point attempt. Moore. It's not a bad foul there by Whitfield.
You know, Campbell, this game has been low possession. That's why the game is in the 50s. I mean, Duke's shooting 50% from the field, and they only have 57 points. It's been low possession, largely in part because of Campbell's tempo in the half court. Good find now by Carolero. You've got to knock that down. Again, we're closing in on 5 minutes. You're down 7. You can't airball.
Moore looking to get position on Jordan Whitfield. Whitfield uses the forearm and will be called for the foul, his second in the game. Fifth team foul for Campbell here in the second half. Duke has 6. So again, late stages, still nobody in the bonus. Bancaro.
High level. Wow.
17 on the night, 7 of 10 from the field. He's got that inflated field goal percentage, and it's not like Bancaro's a guy who's just catching lobs and dunking the ball. Shooting jump shots from all over the floor. Keeping pace with his 70% field goal percentage. He's at exactly that clip here this evening. Henderson, 3-pointer off the heel. Moore hit ahead. Roach on the other end. That will count.
Good leak out there by Roach. When the shot comes from the top of the key, somebody on Campbell's got to rotate back, and bad decision by Cedric Henderson to sort of stutter step forward after that shot, because it gave Roach a step by him. A good look ahead, and a nice job by Roach to attack the rim.
A double-digit lead now for the Blue Devils. Both teams huddle up here with just over 4 minutes to play. Clemens and Henderson with 16 apiece for Campbell. Bancaro leads all scorers this evening with 17. He's grabbed 5 rebounds as well. There is Bancaro, preseason ACC Player of the Year, Freshman of the Year. Number number 3 overall player in the ESPN rankings. 18 points, 12 rebounds last night, following it up with another terrific performance. And a guy who has come in, again, lofty expectations and has done nothing to give any indication that he is not the real deal.
Oh.
And just such a fit for today's game. The ability to stretch the perimeter.
For this team, he doesn't do anything out of what the team is trying to do. Nothing has been about him. It's been within the flow of stuff.
Carolero down the lane, dishes it off to Clemens, who is fouled.
This is a big possession for Campbell to get points because Duke is starting to score at will. I mean, they're starting to get a flow of points on the other end. It's been a bit of a drought. You know, Duke's defense, you know, I did the game last night and I went back and watched it today, mainly to hear myself again.
If you didn't say it, I was going to, so thank you for bailing me out on that.
I wanted to see if I missed anything. You know, their defense was actually better than I thought leaving the gym last night. I mean, they were more active than I thought, certainly in the second half. And their defense, again, has been very good tonight with a very difficult offense to defend and a very old team that runs their stuff well.
It's Roach now. As we dip under 4 minutes to play, the lead is 11 for Duke. And Caro with 3 on the shot clock. He'll step back for a 3. That one catches air. Campbell has not scored in more than 3 minutes. A couple of missed free throws a moment ago. That one off the rim for Whitfield. And it's getting late early here for the Camels down the stretch. 3.5 to play, down by 11. Caro, shoulder fake. Joey Baker closed out nicely by Whitfield. 5 on the shot clock for Moore. Roach for 3. .307 to play. Blue Devils by 11 over Campbell. Duke by double digits, a disparity in field goal percentage, but Clemens and Henderson playing Moore and Caro just about even, almost to the number in this game here this evening.
Campbell's a good team. I could see them winning the Big South, and they're playing this game tonight without arguably the best big guy in the Big South, and Josh Lesane.
Carolero sends that one into the second row.
And give Duke a lot of credit. They've adjusted to this style, you know, with lineups defensively. They've started switching everything. Nice block there by Carolero.
Seems like Duke has a defensive versatility. Sometimes people talk about versatility on offense and the ability to attack teams in different ways, but Duke obviously went with Caro at the 5, adjusted their lineup, and kind of gotten into Campbell a little bit here in the second half. Now Caro draws the foul and will head to the free throw line.
You know, like most young players at Banchero's size, they go right to dunk that. And, you know, you either get your shot blocked or you may end up getting to the foul line anyway. But the shot fake there is such a smart basketball play. And it's a play he's going to have to make as you raise your game in level. And then you ultimately get into the NBA next year. And just a smart basketball play. He's been so well coached in high school. And obviously he's been well coached since he got here in July.
Caro misses the free throw. His first miss of the evening. 15 for 17, though, on the season now. Henderson. Long two, that one is good. Henderson with 18 now. Double-double for the senior from Memphis, Tennessee. 10 rebounds, a couple of assists as well. Duke using clock here with 5 seconds left. Moore kicks it out. Joey Baker, and that should just about do it. 65-52 with a minute and a half left. Joey Baker with his third three of the game.
It's a great pass by Wendell Moore.
Henderson's 11th rebound gives Campbell another possession. The look inside is a good one. Clemens the finish. And Kevin McGeehan will take time out as his team trails by 11 with 1:03 to play. And Duke into a scenario where if they take care of the basketball, they're going to move to 3-0 on the season.
This is just a really smart basketball play. And sometimes the play is right in front of you and you just make the play you're supposed to make. You draw help from that corner, you pitch out to Joey Baker. It's just a smart play by Wendell Moore, and again, it's initiated by him being able to turn the corner off of 1-2 bounces, getting into that paint, drawing help, and a really smart pitch out.
31 minutes for Joey Baker here this evening. 9 points, 3 threes, has 5 rebounds and an assist, no turnovers.
They're going to need a bench. They're going to need a bench with Baker, Theo John. I think they're going to need A.J. Griffin. They're going to need to develop some of those guys as this season moves forward. And certainly having perimeter shooting with Baker, a team, this Duke team, they've shot it great tonight, and this is the best they've shot it. Have not shot it well so far this year overall. And, of course, last year weren't very good at all from the perimeter. So, he certainly gives them that.
So early in the season, I always think it's interesting in these scenarios where you start to build late game situation. You're up 11. What do you run? Running clock, dealing with a press. Right? The result of this game, the score obviously may change, but it's likely going to be a Duke victory. And so there's just opportunities to work on things. It's game 3 of a long season for both teams. Long pass from Moore, and it's turned over. And so perhaps a lesson learned in that regard.
Well, Daniel Jones is in the building tonight. I saw him in the concourse.
Did you get an autograph?
Would have been nice. No.
Did he get yours, I mean?
I didn't.
Sorry, that's what I meant to say.
No. I didn't want him saying no.
Daniel Jones in town. Bates Jones, a member of the Duke men's basketball team. Ruthie Jones, his sister, starting goalkeeper for the Duke women's soccer team. Got a 1-0 win over Old Dominion last night in the first round of the NCAA tournament. And another turnover. (65-56), 37.7 seconds left. As the referees discuss the call on the floor. I didn't see a call, Chris, did you?
May have.
Maybe inadvertent whistle? So it looked like Campbell may have tried to call timeout, and then they were given a technical foul because they didn't have one left.
I didn't realize he called timeout. Yeah, I mean, that's what it would be. And Ray Steins is trying to explain it to him. There's not much you can do if you're the official.
It's one of the most famous plays of all time in college basketball. Chris Webber against North Carolina. Slightly different circumstance here.
I was going to say,
however,
the degree
the
is a
same
little
rule
bit different.
applies.
A November game in Cameron, national championship game. But I understand where you were going with that.
Thank you. You know, I allow you to stray into evolutionary biology. I make a very relevant analogy. Taking heat, 37.7 to play.
I don't think Chris Webber thought he was going to be taking shrapnel here tonight.
It's a tough night for Chris Webber. Wherever he is right now, he feels worse. Final 30 seconds here in Cameron. 3 is off the mark from Henderson. Shot clock is off. Shot clock is off, and so is the shoe of Jeremy Roach. 20.5 seconds to play. Interesting end to this game with the technical foul and the lack of timeouts, and then the shoe issues of Jeremy Roach.
Well, I thought you were going to make, with your comparisons tonight, I thought you were going to make the last famous shoe to come off in this building.
There's a lot of lasts that we're going over here. Looking ahead, 67-56. Duke going to be 3-0 here in all likelihood, 20.5 seconds from now. Your thoughts on what you've seen these last 2 nights? You've got to see the Blue Devils in a pair of victories.
Yeah, look, I think this is the best, or the chance to be the best defensive team they've had since 2010. I think it's certainly the most physical they've had since then. They have a special player in Banchero. They have veteran leadership. They have a player in Wendell Moore who's taken a tremendous jump. You know, Trevor Keels, we haven't called his name a lot tonight, but obviously he's been terrific. And I think these 3 games, I mean, you play Kentucky up in the Garden on that stage. That's a great game for your program, win or lose. And then the 2 opponents they've played in this event. You know, Army's going to have a chance to win the Patriot League, play in the NCAA tournament. Campbell, I think they're going to win the Big South. They'll have a chance to play in the NCAA tournament. So even these 2 mid-major games help you and you know, let you figure some stuff out about your team.
The floater falls short for Carolero. Coach Kevin McGeehan says no more fouls. And the Blue Devils are 3-0 after a 67-56 win over Campbell here in Cameron Indoor Stadium. Strong effort for the Camels without Joshua Lucane. We talked about Duke, but Campbell's got something to build off of this weekend as well.
They did. They had a game plan. I thought they executed it. They wanted this to be low possession, low tempo. And they got off to a great start. You know, we said at the top, you got to get off to a great start and force Duke to play your style. And I thought they did that for the most part. Duke just has more talent, and I thought they turned it on defensively end of the first half and really maintained that with their switching 1 through 5 for much of the second half.
Preseason ACC Player of the Year, Paolo Banchero, 18 points and 7 rebounds. Congratulations, Coach K, on Duke win number 1100 for our entire production crew. And Chris Spatola, I'm Ryan Craig. To watch this game on replay or any other, go to watchespn.com or download the ESPN app. 3-0 for the Blue Devils. This has been a presentation of ESPN.